No.
I think so.
Microphones are on.
Marker 8-10, go.
The Aggies.
Merrill for the lead. He's got it!
The Jazz.
Stopped him. Open three. Yes!
The high schools.
Waffle's going to take it on the quarterback draw. He's to the 30, the 25, makes a move to the 20, 15, 10, 5. He's into the end zone.
If it's the sport you care about, we're talking about it.
Number 4 of my best non-sports sports. Wife carrying.
I beg your pardon?
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Ajay Salvesen.
Because what you're really saying when you're using all this blabberish is, Ajay, you were right and I was wrong. That's what I'm hearing from you.
106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
It is the first hour of the Full Court Press here on a Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for joining us, however, wherever you're doing so. Eric Frandsen, I'm Ajay Salvesen here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan. Got a good one. Really good show here for you. We're going to have a couple of things going on. First of all, we got 2 Hall of Famers. Well, yeah, I guess one soon-to-be Hall of Famer and another one who is a Hall of Famer, both on the show with us today. Excited to have these interviews with us, really are. We're going to have, of course, as we've already teased it on our show, we are going to have former head coach of the Utah State Aggies, Stu Morrill, join us here on the Full Court Press. That'll be in the 5 o'clock hour to hear from him. We'll get his thoughts on JC and Ty specifically, being their coaches, what he learned from them as well. It should be a really, really fun interview. And then we will have Barb Klein. Barb Klein, I guess, is how you should properly pronounce it. Don't let me forget to do that. Barb Klein will join us here on the Full Court Press at about 4:30. We'll have Barb Klein on, or it's not Barb Klein. Sorry, Barb Zoll. I apologize.
Zoll, yeah.
Who was in gymnastics from 1988, and then 90 to 92. She was a walk-on, rewarded her for accomplishments with a scholarship during her sophomore season, captured the floor title with a 9.850 in the Big West Conference Championships, garnered first-team honors in the all-around, vault and bars as well. She was a phenomenal gym. I mean, this is incredible.
Yeah, it's a long list of accomplishments, including a finalist for the AIA American Award, which is given to the outstanding senior gymnast in the country. She was a finalist for the 92 NCAA Woman of the Year Award, so great accomplishments from her while she was at Utah State. So it's really fun this week to highlight these athletes and their accomplishments while they were at Utah State, as they will be inducted into the Utah State Athletics Hall of Fame coming up this weekend.
Yeah, and we'll have more interviews as well throughout the week. You'll have Lance White join us live in the studio. We are working to get with us Kathy Hilton, who got back to me. She will be part of our interview festivities throughout the week as well. We'll set one up with her. Again, our Guild Mortgage text line is open for you guys to be a part of our show today, 435-339-0321. Again, 435-339-0321. We got a lot to talk about, and we really, to be honest, don't have that much time to get through all of it. So we're going to try and get through it as much as we can, including Utah Jazz basketball, NBA playoff game 2s. First session was last night. Second session is tonight. And then you also have our stat and player of the week. Again, 435-339-0321 to text into our Guild Mortgage text line. We'll be live at Guild Mortgage tomorrow, 4 to 6. Love to have you out there. Al Lewis is going to join us live. Hopefully, at least we're planning on that as of right now, unless anything goes awry in regards of his schedule. But we'll have him on to talk about Bobby Wagner, Robert Turman, Ty Wesley, J.C. Carroll, all guys that he got to watch in person, front row, right there in the center, as the Hall of Famer who did a lot of great broadcasts over the years for the Utah State Aggies. Get a chance to hear from him and hear some of his stories. God, I wish he could have sat. Maybe he did or had the chance to sit in practices, and he could tell us more about the trash talk.
Oh, I know he sat in practices.
Dude, I want to hear the stories. He's got to have stories. Maybe he was too scared to tell then, but he can definitely tell now because we've all moved on. Eric, hi, how are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm really excited for tomorrow. It's always fun to be live on location and to have folks stop by and say hi.
Yeah, come say hi to us.
And try to make it worth your while. Usually there's something to sign up for and win. So
I hope. We're working on it.
We'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen, Captain. Absolutely.
Might be, Ajay hasn't quite finished off the pick six treat that I gave him. Maybe he'll bring that.
I forgot to. I found you some Easter Bunny peanut butter things in the jigger.
No.
No, what do you mean no?
I gave those to you. You can't give them back to me.
I took them from. I didn't say I. No, I bought these at a special place.
One other thing, too, just to pass along, great softball game going on right now at Ridgeline High School. Two of some of the best softball teams in the state battling it out in Millville. Ridgeline hosting Bear River, and that game is going on right now on CashValleyDaily.com. Dave Simmons and Nick Zollinger are on the call. If you can't pull up a website, or if you want to, if you're driving around and you want to tune in and check on it, it's on 104.5 The Ranch in Cache County, and it looks like they've just ended an inning here, so it looks like it's tied 2-2, and so it's a close one going on in Ridgeline right now. So we may do a look in a little bit later on as this game goes on.
All right, let's go ahead and get with the bad news first, because that's what we like to do here. We like to discuss the depressing things of the sports world in our lives, and, well, nothing more depressing than Utah Jazz blowing another lead in a playoff game. Dallas beats Utah in Game 2, 110-104, and do it behind the stellar shooting of two guys in specific, as Jalen Brunson goes 15-25 from the field in 42 minutes, scores 41 points, adds on 8 boards as well with 5 assists. And not to be outdone, but Max Kleber has 25 points on 8 of 11 shooting. All 8 of those buckets were from beyond the arc. 25 points and 8 of 11 shooting. That one extra point came from the charity stripe. He also had 6 boards, 3 assists. Again, Game 2 goes to Dallas, 110-104. Man, look, Eric, I get it. Jazz fans are upset. They're angry with the Utah Jazz. Probably should have had that game. But two guys who are not, I'm not going to say are no-namers, but are not known as guys who put up career highs like that. One guy goes 8 of 11 from 3, and the other guy scores 40-something points, and Dallas hits 22 threes. And by the way, they only had 3 turnovers in the game. I can guarantee you that's not happening in Game 2. So let's calm down. Or Game 3.
Karen, what? But yeah, look, Maxi Kleber, he was shooting 19% from 3 since the All-Star break. And then he went, 78% from 3 last night?
Yeah.
To see, I mean, Brunson's a nice player, but he has never done anything like that collegiately or in the NBA before.
He never will again.
But here's the problem. Remember Terrence Mann last year with the Clippers?
That was one game.
That's all they needed. Now, instead of this being a 4-game series, now it's a 5-game series.
Did you expect it to be a 4-game series?
And on top of that, now we have news that Luka Doncic could be back as soon as Game 3, but more likely for Game 4, that stretches this series out. When you have a chance to hit a knockout strike, you take it. You try to hit it.
Again, but look, the Jazz didn't get blown out by 30 despite these crazy numbers. The Jazz didn't get beat by 30, 35 points, Eric. They had several chances to win this game, weren't able to pull it off. Give credit to the great shooting of Kleber and Brunson and the Mavericks. They had 22 threes and only had 3 turnovers.
Yeah, but of those 22 threes, only 5 were contested. 17 uncontested threes. It's a habitual problem for this team not being able to make some adjustments, and really comes down to guarding the guy in front of you, relying too much on Rudy Gobert, because then he has to dive to cover the basket, which leaves somebody open, and they kick out, and they're wide open for an uncontested 3.
9315. Why do no-name players get hot on the Jazz and just keep going? It only happens to the
know.
Jazz. Here's like what? Terrence Mann, career high against the Jazz in the playoffs. Jamal Murray, career high twice against the Utah Jazz in the playoffs. Jalen Brunson, career high against the Utah Jazz in the playoffs. I'm telling you though, Eric, Jazz fans need to calm down. It's not happening again. It's not happening again.
It's one game in a best-of-7 series. I get that.
And they split on the road.
They did what they were supposed to do as the road team in splitting the series 1-1 in Dallas. But you had the opportunity and should have been able to take care of business and be up 2-0 coming home to Salt Lake. You're up by 10 in the second half, early in the second half. It was just another frustrating night for the Utah Jazz. Now, Donovan Mitchell is healthy. Mike Conley is healthy. That was Donovan Mitchell's message after the game. Look, we came down here to split a series. We did that. The difference here compared to last year is my ankle's fine. Mike's hamstring is fine. We know we can make some adjustments. We're not as desperate as we were a year ago. So I like that attitude. It's frustrating because that's what's been played out over the last few years, especially the last few months, the way this team has struggled to close and finish games, which they had the lead.
8798 text into the Gil Mortgage text line. Lazy, empathetic team defense. Yeah, I don't know how you have that many wide open threes. What did you say, 17?
17 uncontested threes.
Good ball movement?
Yes, that was part of it.
Dude, did you
But
see...
there was a couple times where there were Jazz players standing right next to each other, not knowing who's going to go guard whom, and Dallas is like, oh, you want to shoot the wide open three or do you want to shoot the wide open three? Because they're not coming out to either one of us.
But did you see Donovan, or I think it was Donovan, get mad at Bogey yesterday? Bogey's been bad on defense as of late. Like, he's just getting lost. 6294. Eric is right. Jazz have a habit of giving things up. These problems have been going on for a while. But this is the one, I think this is the year where you can fix those problems. Last year, you said it. Donovan wasn't healthy. Mike wasn't healthy. Bogey wasn't healthy. Rudy was, like, on one leg. This year, they don't have any excuses.
Ajay, what happened here in the building a few weeks ago?
What happened?
Because something magically flipped somewhere, somehow, where I have become the Jazz pessimist and suddenly you're the Jazz optimist.
What's going on with you, Eric?
I don't know what happened.
Huh? Why can't you just
It
believe?
was unspoken. It wasn't planned or coordinated. But, like, one day, you became Mr. Jazz Man, and I became sad on the Jazz. And it's weird. I don't know what's going on.
You got to be more optimistic in life. A couple of national pundits go ahead and give their takes on the Jazz. We're going to start with one of our favorites, Stephen A. Smith.
He didn't pull any punches.
Very disappointed in the Utah Jazz.
I gotta confess to you, man, I can't stand the damn Utah Jazz. They make me sick. They always wet the bed. They make me sick. I mean, they really do. Doncic is out. Tim Hardaway Jr. is out. It's a playoff game. And Jalen Brunson drops 41. I'm a fan of Jalen Brunson. But 41 points? This is what Utah does. This is what they do. Every single time you expect something from them, they let you down. If I'm Donovan Mitchell, if I lose this series, man, I take my jersey, I walk out, and I throw that damn thing in the trash. I don't even fly home with the team. Every single time you believe in Utah, they let you down. They just let you down. It's who they are.
Is he right?
I mean,
not wrong,
he voiced how Jazz Twitter was reacting last night. Tony Jones, our good friend Tony Jones, who writes for The Athletic, and has been continuing all day today, just reminding people, look, the Jazz were the road team in a best-of-7 series, and they split and got home court advantage back in their favor. Let's remember that. Dallas did two things happen for Dallas that never happen. One, a guy who normally shoots 19% from three was shooting 80% from three. And then a guy who's not a bad point guard, not a bad player, had a career night. But he's also reminding people, look, Dallas is more than just Luka. Dallas has other talented players on their roster. Because I think some Jazz fans got a little irrational thinking, no Luka, no problem. And Dallas is still a good basketball team. I think the Utah Jazz as a team also needs to remember that. But the concern, the biggest thing for me isn't what the Jazz did or didn't do offensively last night. It's what they didn't do defensively. Because when a lot of these plays got set up as they came across half court, every Jazz man was on a Dallas player. But then a drive to the basket and a lack of switching defensively or lack of ability to keep the guy in front of you, we see Dallas shooting wide open three after wide open three. Game 1, they put up 32 3-point attempts. I talked about this the other day. They only made 9, but they had 32 3-point attempts. My concern was if they start making more threes, that really changes the dynamic of the game. And that's exactly what happened last night.
6294 text in. Stephen A must have lost a big bet on the Jazz. No, he just wants Donovan Mitchell to get on a plane after the series is over and fly to New York Knicks. That's what he's hoping for. He's a diehard Knicks fan. Speaking of national pundits, Colin Cowherd hopped on today's show, and his opening segment was on the Utah Jazz. Now, it's a 4-minute clip, and I did do some editing, but I want to keep the whole thing in context because this guy, Eric, as you listen to this audio, is all over the place. Translate this for me. Listen to it.
Utah Jazz could not beat the Mavericks without Luka. So they won 1 or 2 games. The Utah Jazz have always been a really good job. Coaching the Utah Jazz, really good job. With no chance to be a great job. It's like Wisconsin football. It's a really good job. Athletic director's good. Facilities are good. The fans are great. State of Wisconsin's got like 6 Division I players every year that can play. Utah's a good job. But they have to go international and get home runs in the draft because, like the Packers, it's not a free agent place. If you look at the greatest Jazz team of all time, they got Stockton and Malone in back-to-back picks, but one was 13th, one was 16th. They've got to hit home runs. They've got to go international. Bojan Bogdanovic, Rudy Gobert, Joe Ingles, they've got to go international because they don't get free agents. They got to hit home runs in the draft, and they've done it before. But this is why Quinn Snyder is looking at the Lakers. The Jazz do everything right. The fans are amazing. The facility's great. The new owner is super smart. The coach is amazing. But it's hard there. You got to go overseas. You got to get home runs in the draft. You don't get the free agent edge. And I've seen this before. Notre Dame is a great job, but Brian Kelly was right. LSU's a greater job in 2022. Easier to get kids in. There's more players in the geographic footprint. Oklahoma's a great job. USC, when it's on fire, is greater. Why? Because there's 125 Division I players in California. There's 12 a year in Oklahoma. You don't have to beg them to play. You don't have to leave the state to get 90% of your players. The Packers and the Jazz have limitations. Karl Malone was a 85 draft, the 13th pick. Stockton in the 84 draft was a 16th pick. You hit back-to-back home runs, you can be in finals for years and years and years. I grew up with the Seattle Mariners, same thing. We are so geographically isolated in the Pacific Northwest, they fly almost 50,000 miles a year. That's why in the second half, the Mariners always run out of gas. They're on planes too long. But I look at Quinn Snyder, and I see a great coach and a well-run organization and a rabid fan base. And Rudy Gobert's a remarkable defensive player. But one injury to Joe Ingles, or it was Bogdanovic the year before, and they're not a championship team. In fact, they're not even a conference champion. They're not going to get to the Western Conference Finals. As good as Quinn Snyder is, 8th season, no conference finals. It's not because he can't coach. It's not because it's not a good front office. It's not because Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert aren't individually great. But if they have any little injury, they lose a Bogdanovic to a wrist injury, Joe Ingles out, it's over. They don't have excess. They're, like LSU football has a 3rd NFL running back in the depth chart. Notre Dame's got a 2nd. That's the difference. Utah, the Jazz, that is a really good job, but it's got a ceiling on it. And I was watching that last night as they sort of unravel, and I think, man, you got to win this series. Luka's not there. You got to win this series. You got your 2 stars. The Jazz have what many would perceive as the better coach, the best defensive player, your stars available. Dallas doesn't have Luka. You got to win the series. I'm not blaming anybody. You got to win it. And that is the frustration. That is why people will leave what appears to be a really good job in college for a great job. Fewer limitations, fewer obstacles, warmer weather, more kids in the geographical footprint. So I really, by the way, there's a ceiling for Canadian teams, right? Chris Bosh, get me out. The taxes, the weather, the geography. Nick Nurse, Toronto's up for the Laker job. Quinn Snyder, Utah, up for the Laker job. You don't have to leave Philadelphia. You don't have to leave the Celtics. You don't have to leave the Heat or the Lakers or the Clippers. You go into a lot of places. They don't have the obstacles. But as I watched Utah unravel, I thought they have to win the series. Like, this is the same group of guys for years and years. You got the coach. You got the star defensive center. You got Donovan Mitchell. You're missing Ingles. Okay, all right. They're missing Luka. This is the kind of loss where a Quinn Snyder goes, all right, I've done everything I can, but it's just a good job. A very good job, but it can't be a great job.
Can't be a great job. It's only a very good job. Dude, he was all over the place, man.
Yeah, I think he forgets that Boyan came as a free agent, but that's okay. But
and Mike Conley came as a free agent.
He came as a trade, but then he stayed as a free agent. Yeah. But it's like we've heard this argument from Colin before. You know, some guys in the national media, and they get wrapped up in thinking you can only win and you can only have success if you are in their major market, whether that be in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. But we've seen, like, he's bagging on Green Bay. Green Bay has won championships. It's been a little bit. Kansas City is not a major market. They have won championships. A championship in the NFL, modern era.
Been to a couple, though.
Yeah. But he's right, though. Pressure is on the Jazz. They need to win this first round. Do they need to win it in a sweep? No. The odds were definitely in favor for the Jazz to do that without Luka in the mix. But give Dallas some credit for the team that they have. Their coaching staff. Sure. But still, I contend the Jazz should have won that game. Things were lined up for them to win that game. But look, Mike Conley gets in foul trouble. He's eliminated from the game. Hassan Whiteside couldn't do 2 easy putbacks under the hoop. He's disengaged. He's lost on defense. The rotations, you can't stay in front of your guys on defense. You just continue to fail to close out on a guy who's hot and just have this mentality that, well, he'll cool off at some point. It doesn't work. You still have to go out and defend them. Once they start getting some mojo, they're going to keep going unless you stop it. Einstein laid this out perfectly. Objects in motion will stay in motion. If a guy gets in a rhythm, he's going to stay in a rhythm. You have to take him out of the rhythm. And the Jazz didn't do that with Brunson or with Kleber.
Dude, I love it, man. You make my promo so easy to create. Great. So, Eric, It's weird to say this, that even though the Jazz split on the road, which is what you would pray to do as the lower seed at all times, right? Whether it's a 7-2, 8-1, 5-4 game, 6-3, you want to split on the road. Best case scenario is a sweep. Most realistic case is a split, and you're thrilled. We split with the Mavericks, and all hell's breaking loose in the Utah Jazz Nation world. Holy crap, we're done. We can't do it. We're going to lose this series. We're done for it.
Well, yes, and I know tomorrow I'll probably have a better perspective on this. But within the 24 hours after the game and the frustration of losing when you had a lead, because we talked about this before. Dallas has the best player in this series on their roster. But Utah has number 2, number 3, number 4, and maybe even number 5. So with Luka out, you've got the best 3-4 players in this series on your roster. You should be able to find a way to win. And what's been Utah's success this year is top-rated offense. And that offense isn't really hitting like they should be, and they have been for most of the year. Give Dallas credit for what they're doing defensively, but Utah's got to find a way to do a little better offensively, too.
All right, we're going to take a break. Coming back, we're going to talk to Barb Klein, gymnastics legend, who is now going to be entering the Utah State Athletics Hall of Fame on Saturday night. I have a chance to get to know her and her career and her opportunity to be inducted into the Utah State Athletics Hall of Fame. All coming up on the Full Court Press here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Well, what shall we talk about?
You're listening to the Doug Gottlieb Show.
It's kind of been that year. It's been tough not being able to fully reach our potential.
I don't agree with anybody who thinks, like Anthony Davis, everybody's out there wants us to lose. No, Most people, they want you in the playoffs. Who possibly could have seen all these injuries coming? That's right, everybody!
The Doug Gottlieb Show.
Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
This is Bob Larson with LSS Insurance. Are you getting ready to retire, but your spouse isn't 65 yet? We can help. We focus on health insurance, so we can provide you the best possible services and information. Come the third Thursday, April 21st at 7 p.m. to our free seminar. We'll empower you with the information you need to make a confident decision. Come see us at LSS Insurance, the third Thursday, April 21st at 7 p.m. Call 752-9493 to RSVP, and walk-ins are always welcome.
Cache Valley Bank's newest branch is now open in Preston. I'm Lance Zollinger, and I'm excited to announce Cache Valley Bank is now open inside Stokes Marketplace. If you're an existing customer, you'll love the convenience. If you're not a customer, we'd love to have you open a new account with us, or even talk with us about a loan for your farm or business. Cache Valley Bank, a community bank where decisions are still made locally, now open in Preston. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I'd like to invite you to learn more about us. Since 1997, we've been Utah's premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment. What sets us apart at Alpine Home Medical is the superior level of customer service. We provide home oxygen, CPAPs, wheelchairs, scooters, breast pumps, and so much more. Come on down and get to know us.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit alpinehomemedical.com.
Here's Chad Norton, the lawn doctor, with a tip for your lawn.
As soil temperatures start to warm up, you'll start to see weeds germinate in your lawn, first on the edges and then spread throughout your lawn. One of those weeds will be a dandelion that each have up to 200 seeds per flower and can travel up to 5 miles and live up to 7 years. Call us and we can help control your weed problems this spring.
Call the lawn doctor for fertilizer, weed, and pest control. And if you're looking for a job this summer, join the lawn doctor team. Call 753-LAWN.
Northern Utah and Southern Idaho's home for sports. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
It is the Full Court Press, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan, 1069thefan.com, and on our 1069 The Fan mobile app. Again, we are celebrating the great Utah State athletes who are being inducted into this year's Athletics Hall of Fame. You can get your tickets on UtahStateAggies.com. A great ceremony ahead, and we are privileged to have another one on our show here on the Full Court Press. From Apple Valley, Minnesota. She was in gymnastics for 1988, and then 90 through 92. Barb Klein now joins us here on the Full Court Press. Barb, hi, how are you? Congratulations.
Thank you. How are you doing?
We're great.
We're doing good. Thanks
well.
for your time today.
Well, that's good.
Barb, I got to ask, when you got the phone call, what was that like? Were you surprised, or did you expect it? How did that all go?
I was very surprised. I cried when I got the phone call because for several years before that, Ray was my coach at the time, was always saying, I got to get you in, because he'd always come up to do gymnastics camps up here in Star Valley where I live now. And I was always like, yeah, it's okay. It's not going to happen. I wasn't that decorated of a gymnast, but he was so positive that it was going to happen. And what made it kind of just really emotional is about a month before that, he had passed away. So it was pretty shocking and humbling, and just knowing that I can't call him and say, hey, look at what just happened. So, but just really, just a neat thing to have happen.
I was going to ask you about Coach Ray Corn. Just a tremendous career at Utah State. When you were there, you guys were nationally ranked multiple times, took gymnastics from just like a club sport to something that was sanctioned, and then even put it on the national stage. What was that like, being there with that group, and you guys got a top 10 national ranking at a couple different times?
It was pretty awesome and very amazing. We have the most amazing crowd during that time. When you would go to some of the teams that were ranked higher than us, there might be 10 people in the stands, and we would fill the spectrum. People would come there and be shocked because University of Utah obviously fills their stadium as well, and it's quite big, but they don't expect that from a Utah State. And so just a neat experience to have such a supportive community, and I think that just kind of spurred us on. And my teammates were such great support, and also just we're always challenging each other. We all wanted to be on the floor, and so we all were always trying to do our best. And Ray just always had these neat little things up his sleeve to try to continue. Like, we all were pretty good athletes, but I think he really helped us with that mental toughness that it takes to get to that national ranking. And he just was so inspiring all the time. And even if you didn't meet the mark, he wasn't down on you for it. He was just like, all right, let's try something new to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So just a great time for gymnastics in Logan.
Barb, you said that you had told Coach that your accolades weren't that, I guess, prestigious, or your resume wasn't that decorated. I'm going to politely disagree with you as I look at your bio.
Yes.
And I'm going to read this out just because you may have forgotten. That's okay. But, Barb, you were the Big West Scholar Athlete of the Year in 1991. You're a 4-time USA All-American Scholastic Team recipient, a 3-time High Country Athletic Conference All-Academic honoree, a 2-time finalist for the AIA American Award, which is given to the outstanding senior gymnast in the nation, and a finalist for the 1992 NCAA Woman of the Year Award. That is absolutely incredible.
And there are more accolades than just
yeah,
those.
I had to shorten it up just a little bit. But Barb, throughout your career, what was your goal? Because gymnastics can be a team thing, but also an individual thing. What were your individual goals for you as a gymnast?
Well, for me as a gymnast, I just always wanted to get out there and compete and throw my best routines. Like you each day, each time you practice, you're like, oh, that was the routine. I hope that's the one that I'm going to do when I compete. So I was always looking for just making sure it was my best performance. You can never say, oh, I want to get this score, because every night the judges they're just different, and you can't ever say things like that. But you can always say, hey, this is the routine I want that to come out as. And I adored competing at the Spectrum. It was so much fun. So I always just wanted to make sure that I could show the joy that I had with the people that are there. And then just always making sure, there were times where you're like, okay, I'm close to making it to nationals, and, I got to do this. So there was always that idea of, yeah, I want to get to nationals, and I want to do my best there. But, if you didn't get there, it wasn't the end of the world, because there were so many other things to look forward to in my career, whether it be with my teammates or even my academics. Education was a huge deal for me.
I want to ask you, just going back even a little bit further, you're from Minnesota. So what was it that attracted you to come to Utah State and make that move across the country to come to Logan, Utah?
Well, honestly, from Minnesota, I didn't really know anything about Utah, but I had a friend that was from Minnesota that I competed with and trained with. Her name was Tana Davis, and she had come out the year before, and she knew I wanted to continue doing gymnastics in college, and so she said, you got to come out here and visit. So I went out there, and the second I landed, I just kind of knew this was my place. It was my home. People were so supportive. Ray he just had this enthusiasm and this passion for the sport that that's how I was. I loved gymnastics. To this day, I'm watching college gymnastics all the time on ESPN, and so I just knew that this was my place. I loved training there. I loved seeing the girls there. They were so warm, but I also knew that they too had a passion for gymnastics. So it was like a no-duh moment. This is where I was going.
Barb Klein joining us here on the Full Court Press, a very soon-to-be USU Hall of Famer in the athletics, and big congratulations to her. Barb, gymnastics, I don't know how the sport evolves, or if it can evolve from when you were there to where it is now, but if it has, how so?
Well, the vault is completely different now. It looks like a big tongue to me, and we didn't have that, and the way that we entered the vault is very different. The bars, when I first started, you would wrap the bar, you would put your hips would hit the bar, and now they're so far apart that can't happen. that started to evolve when I was there. We started to have the bar setting out. The beam has some spring to it, but that hasn't really changed much. But the floor has changed a ton as well. We had spring floor, but the girls now, my goodness, I don't know where they get their energy from, because we were lucky if we could end with a full twist at the end, and they're ending with all these double backs and all these twisteroos. So I imagine that it will continue to change you just never know what's going to happen, because like Simone Biles and even Suni Lee right now, in college, she's performing new skills. It's kind of just crazy.
I actually wanted to ask you about Simone Biles. Certainly she got some attention this last summer in the Olympics because everybody was so excited to watch what she could do, and she was the odds-on favorite, and then she pulled out. She said she had the twisties, and for some of us unfamiliar with gymnastics, we had a hard time understanding why she couldn't compete. And as somebody who's been involved in the sport and has been in situations like that as well, what were you experiencing when you saw her saga kind of play out on national and international television?
Oh, my goodness. I felt so bad for her because I know what that's like. And it's terrifying because skills that once were like you could just breathe and do them, they all of a sudden are just gone. And there is not anything, you can't practice them because then you just keep practicing them wrong. And to be in front of all these people watching that happen, and for people to think, well, maybe she's just pulling out because she's afraid she's going to lose. No, the twisties are a real thing, and they are. When you get high enough in gymnastics and you're twisting all over the place and you don't know where you are, it's so scary. So I felt so bad for her, and yet proud for her that she was able to say, hey, I can't do this, and tell people why, and support her team, not, go hide in a corner and cry because she can't compete. But she was there. She was there cheering everybody on, and, it left her some really neat opportunities, like Michaela Skinner. Like, she wasn't going to be able to compete anymore in the Olympics, and she got that opportunity. So what a neat thing that we all got to watch and see.
I don't know if you have a chance to be able to watch Utah State gymnastics as of late. What they did this year was pretty incredible, setting some floor records, some school records as well in scores, go to the NCAA regionals, and compete really well. Just ended up being in a really, really tough group. It sounds like you've been able to hear a little bit about them. What have you seen out of them, especially from the freshman phenom, Brielle Clark?
Oh, my goodness. She's a firecracker. She is so fun to watch. I wish I could get out there and do the things she did, because how fun is that? And her smile on floor is it just pulls you in. And those girls, like, I don't usually like to watch beam. It makes me so nervous. But watching them, I wasn't nervous at all. Like, you knew they were going to rock every single set, and they did it beautifully. Their coach for beam is amazing. And the skills that they have on bars and just the things they can do on vault, it's just, they're going to be able to continue to recruit some amazing athletes just because the team that they have there now, they have a passion for competing. They have a passion for getting better, and they want to get to that national level. And who doesn't want to be a part of a team like that?
Barb, since you left Utah State, and it's been 30 years now, have you...
Oh, my gosh, really?
You had to date that, didn't you? How dare
92,
you?
Oh, my gosh,
2022. It's been a little while. But have you... what's been your involvement in gymnastics since you left Utah State?
Well, I did coach here and there. I teach school now, and so to go and have a family and teach school and then try to coach at night, I tried to do it here and there, but it was just too difficult. So my only involvement now is just to be a cheerleader and watch it and just promote it for other people, that this is a thing that you want to get involved in. Even as an adult, I get to look back at my old gymnastics in Apple Valley, and they have adult classes, and I think that is amazing. That's so awesome. So even though I can't coach and I can maybe do a handstand still, I'm still there supporting by watching and letting people know that it's an amazing sport and you should spend some time getting to know it.
Barb, I got to ask you, I've heard from former basketball players and former football players about how great it is to hear from the current coaches and team, be invited out to practices and such. Have you ever been contacted by Coach Smith or the gymnastics to just in regards of support and such?
When we had Ray's thing, she had invited us all into the gym, and we were able to get involved that way. my teammates have been amazing. Like the messages that I've got that, I mean, like you said, it's 30 years ago, and they still know how to contact me and support me and cheer me on and just make sure that they know that they wish they could be there if they're not, and that they felt like it was well-deserved. So it's just been kind of neat to hear from all, like even older coaches like Scott Bauman and Dan Tirabassi. It's just neat to hear from all those people.
Now, you mentioned you're in Star Valley right now. It's not too far away, but anybody special coming with you to the ceremonies this weekend?
My husband and my 3 daughters. My mom and dad are coming up from Arizona, and my father-in-law is coming. We just recently lost my mother-in-law about a month ago, so neat to have him there. And then my sister-in-law, and I have some friends from Logan that I still know that are coming, and as far as I know, that's about it.
Barb, I know some athletes will then, after they leave Utah State University, will kind of just separate themselves completely from the university for whatever reason. You are not one of those. Can I ask you what Utah State has meant to you during your time there and even to this day as you get ready to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Well, to me, it just, the community there is incredible. They are so supportive and helpful and kind and generous, and I don't think it's like something that they are working at. It's something that it's just natural to them. They just scoop up those college kids who have left home and they still need that support. It's a place where you can grow and you can learn and you can make mistakes and still be given that grace. And for me, it's so funny. Even to this day, I teach my school kids the song for that goes with the Utah State song, just because I love the place. I encourage kids, because Star Valley, like you said, it's not very far. We have lots of kids that have gone there. I have lots of people here that have been, they went to Utah State and know who I was. So it's just a place that I would encourage anybody who's wanting to get a college degree or even a great place to live to head on out there. It's lovely.
Well, Barb, congratulations. A tremendous career while you were at Utah State, and it's fun to be able to recognize and honor those who did great things when they were athletes and then be reminded of all the great things
Absolutely.
that they did, besides just accomplishments in the field of play, but what you did off the court or off the beam or whatever the sport may be. So appreciate you spending some time with us to kind of reminisce on some of the things that you accomplished while at Utah State, and best of luck with everything coming up this weekend.
Thank you guys so much.
No, thank you, Barb. Appreciate you. That's Barb Klein, the future, very soon to be Utah State gymnastics, now about to be Hall of Famer. That is, and look, I love every Hall of Famer we've talked to have been so modest. They're like, I had a few accolades, that's it. And I'm looking at the list, and I'm like, I'm still scrolling.
It keeps
and
going.
Can't
It keeps
believe
going.
it.
Yes.
So congratulations to Barb. What a great class coming in. Get your tickets at UtahStateAggies.com. We're going to take a break. Coming back, we'll wrap up the first hour with a full court press on 106.9 The Fan.
It's the Full Court Press.
What do you think the genuine level interest from Quinn Snyder was of the Lakers?
Well, look, his memory of being in LA was with Kobe Bryant. If I'm Quinn Snyder, I'm looking at what's going on there, from leadership to ownership to personnel. And I get it. Some people want to walk into those situations feeling like it's broken. I can come in and fix it. I mean, there's a few guys that go through there that have been able to bounce back after having a bad experience.
Weekdays from 4 to 6. 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change is now open on Sundays at 695 North Main in Logan. If you're too busy to get the week to get an oil change for your vehicle, Valvoline Instant Oil Change is now, again, open on Sundays. They're located across from Angie's. Stop in and get your vehicle serviced by trained professionals. Again, 695 North Main in Logan. A big thanks to them for being a sponsor of the Full Court Press in today's show. And a big thanks to Barb Klein for joining us. All-American gymnast. Boy, she had a heck of a decorated resume and well-deserved recognition, Eric.
12 total titles as a sophomore, which is tied for second all-time in class history.
Good heck.
8 as a freshman, 7 as a senior, 7 as a junior. And you went through a bunch of lists that, accolades that she accomplished in her time. But she was part of a club that, or a team, I should say, that at one time was ranked 12th in the country. So great career, great accomplishments, and did it under Coach Ray Corn, who was there for a very long time. And congratulations, to Barb Klein. Great career, be able to recognize her accomplishments this coming Saturday.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take another break, but before we go, don't forget, Dan Patrick's Above the Noise is sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. 5 stores, Preston and Providence. Get over there. Get your car taken care of the right way, whether it's wiper blades, whether it's a new battery, they can install it for you. Because I can't install wiper blades or a new... I'm not even joking, I can't do it. So I would ask them. Or if you need help on your car, they got... or you can ask about Napa certified ASE technicians to help you out on your car as well. They're sponsoring Dan Patrick's Above the Noise. Coming up in about 6 minutes, we'll take our final break. You got something to say? You feel like you want to say something there.
No, I just going to say, make sure you stick around because we're going to find out more about other Hall of Fame inductees this weekend from not the players themselves, the former athletes, but from their coach. You don't want to miss our conversation with Stu Morrill coming up next hour. It was so much fun. We needed way more time because he's a great storyteller, but we enjoyed the time that we did have with him. You don't want to miss that. That's coming up next hour.
Keep it on the down low here. Is the Dan Patrick Show.
Anthony Davis feels like nobody likes the Lakers. The whole world is not rooting against you, Anthony. You know who's rooting for you? Every TV exec. They want you to play. That you have people who don't like LeBron. That's it. It's like nobody's rooting against Anthony Davis.
Dan Patrick. The Dan Patrick Show. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on Sports Talk Radio. 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
S.E. Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged. We offer a large selection of personalized service and extraordinary benefits with our integrity price guarantee. At Match Quality, you'll find our prices to be as low or lower than any store in the state. We consistently beat any 50 to 70% off sales, internet pricing, or so-called wholesale deals. In fact, we even price our diamonds at internet pricing, so you'll get S.E. Needham quality at internet prices. Open Monday through Saturday 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
If you want a natural stone look on your home without the expense, think Coldwater Stone in Tremonton. They have partnered with Castellite and Logan to bring you the look and style you want at a price much less than natural stone. Stop into Coldwater's Tremonton showroom or Castellite and Logan and see how they take some of the most beautiful resources the earth has to offer, then shapes and blends them to create your dream home. Create your custom masterpiece online at coldwaterstone.com. Coldwater Stone, the natural choice for all of your stone needs.
This is Dave Simmons for Les Olson Company. Your team's in the locker room ready to get out there and play to win, but you see a player you don't recognize. They're wearing your jersey and even know your coach's name. But who are they? Would you let this stranger look at your team's playbook? That's exactly how phishing attacks work. In 2020, the number of phishing attacks against businesses doubled compared to the previous year. Don't take risks. Take action with the Les Olson Security Suite. Get your free network assessment at lesolson.com.
It's happened to us all. Red punch, nail polish, coffee or paint. This is Darryl with Northern Utah Chem Dry. What you don't realize is using your own methods can potentially lock in stains within the carpet. Chem Dry's patented stain removal solutions have successfully removed stains all over Cache Valley. If we can't get it out, no one can. So next time you spill, call Chem Dry of Northern Utah.
Chem Dry of Northern Utah. Chem Dry of Northern Utah. 435-752-6100.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wee's T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio. The Fan.
Full Court Press, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan. Eric Frandsen and Ajay Salvesen wrapping up the first hour. Again, as Eric teased, Stu Morrill, second hour coming up. Great interview. Went over than what we were requesting, and that was just fine by us.
Let's see, we talked about kicking basketballs into the stands.
Man, okay. I need to get
players holding him back on the court.
Stories about these. Oh, it's
and
so
we had
unfair.
some great stories with Stu. Just an update. Right now, it's in the fifth inning, top of the fifth, and Bear River is at the plate, bases loaded, one out. Oh, they just got a hit. and they are able to get her out at home, so they preserved that one out. But it's Ridgeline leading 4-3, and you can watch this game going on right now on CashValleyDaily.com, or if you're driving around, you can dial it up on your radio, 104.5 The Ranch. Dave Simmons and Nick Zellinger on the call. These are some of the best softball teams in the state, battling each other right now.
Yep.
They're in Millville. Tomorrow, we've got multiple games going on Cache Valley Daily. At 3:30, it's going to be Bear River versus Green Canyon in baseball. Rod Zundel will be on the call. That'll be fun. Rod always does a great job. And
you said that.
Yeah, no, Rod's
That'll
awesome.
Be fun.
It is fun. Rod's awesome.
I love Rod.
So it'll be on Cache Valley Daily and also on 104.9 The Ranch in Box Elder County, continuing our very long tradition of carrying Bear River sports. And then later that night, it'll be Skyview versus Mountain Crest in girls lacrosse. And Hurricane John Newbold will be doing that on 104.5 The Ranch and also streaming on Cache Valley Daily. That's set to begin around 7 o'clock. So those two games shouldn't conflict with each other on Cache Valley Daily.
And by the way, we do a great job in covering Bear River. Rod Zundel has been wonderful about getting over there. He does great research. He knows
don't be dogging on my guy Rod.
Okay, you just called Newbold Hurricane. All right, I don't want to, and he's probably upset right now.
I may or may not.
He probably just turned down his
mispronounced.
radio dial and moved it over to another station next to us. He's gonna listen for the people now because he's so angry at you. Erica, again, Stu Morrill coming up here. We got okay, we got about maybe 50 seconds. In 50 seconds, give us a tease of what we are going to get of Stu Morrill.
Well, here's a guy who loves his players. He absolutely is proud of his players' accomplishments, and funny how he puts it in context too. Like, they don't get into this stuff if they don't win games. Like, we don't get these recognitions if we don't win games, and that group did win games, and those were really special times that he was a part of, and it was fun. Great memories about J.C. Carroll and Ty Wesley, who are both being inducted, and Stu Morrill was inducted a few years back. So he knows what it's like.
Coach Morrill will be in town, by the way. He will be in. He's coming here, I believe, Friday, pending weather. Hopefully weather will cooperate, allow him to be here. He'll bring his wife, and they'll be here, and they're going to actually come see some family, so it'll be a very busy weekend for the Morrill group as they'll be celebrating again Ty Wesley and J.C. Carroll's induction into the Utah State Athletics.
By the way, Bear River hit
Fame.
a ball through the gap. They just scored 2 runs, so they're now up 5-4 with only 1 out in the 5th inning.
Again, you can catch that action on CashValleyDaily.com. Second hour of Full Court Press, starring Stu Morrill, coming up next.